Muldrotha the Grave Tide is a Sultai graveyard-focused commander that reads, during each of your turns, you may play up to one permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. Now, the possibilities of value and control that you can do with Muldrotha is quite endless, and I might also say quite tempting. You could sit there with a sack outlet and loop Eternal Witness and bring back cool cards, and you can also actually loop a land each turn from Muldrotha. Muldrotha will not synergize with extra land drops, but you can sit there and replay Strip Mine over and over until all of your opponent's lands are gone. Now this is actually a problem with Muldrotha and why Muldrotha is rather difficult to build. This Sultai elemental commander usually sets you in a trap. When you sit down and start constructing this deck, you might think of all the possible loops that you could do with this commander. And you start including cards that are gonna synergize great with the Gravetide. And you forget that Muldrotha costs 6 mana. That is a lot of mana. That means that it's gonna take time before we have her online. But what about rush ramping Muldrotha out? Isn't that a good idea? Let's compare Muldrotha with Narset. So Narset, the Enlightened Master, is an infinite turn deck. When you cast Narset, you will most likely win the same turn or next upcoming turn, because Narset attacks, hits an extra turn or extra combat step, and repeat infinite. I'm soon going to showcase the combos that exist with Muldrotha, but I wanna emphasize that a game plan strategy that involves ramping out Muldrotha all in is something that I don't recommend. Instead, what I think that you should focus on is including cards inside your deck that will be good anyway without your commander. Let's say this, let's say that you don't have access to your commander at all. Will your deck be good? If the answer is yes, I think you have constructed a good and solid Muldrotha deck. And what we are gonna do instead is looking at cards that will be good without Muldrotha cEDH staples, but will also synergize if we get our commander in play, like Caustic Caterpillar, which is a really good one-cost creature that can be sacrificed to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and Muldrotha could bring it back into action if we get our commander in play. Another card I really like is Cabal Pit. It's a good spot removal, it's a land. Sacrifice it if you have Threshold, and we could easily have a deck that will give us 7 or more cards inside our graveyard and give target creature card -2/-2. That's a really good spot removal on a land for only 1 black mana. And we can also include Life from the Loam. Suddenly we have a card that will synergize with your lands, but will also synergize with your commander. Life from the Loam has Dredge 3. That means that we can put the top 3 cards for deck into a graveyard and bring back Life from the Loam back to our hand. That means that we have more fuel, more stuff that Muldrotha can use in the future. You could view it as draw 3 cards basically. And Life from the Loam will perform a mini version of Muldrotha if we don't have access to our Muldrotha. Another great card is Mishra's Bubble for 0 mana. This is a cantrip. You sacrifice it, peek and look at the top card of any player's library, and then you draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. So this is not going to draw a card the same turn you cast it, but it is going to be a card draw effect, and it is an artifact for 0 mana. That means that if you have cracked this already, when you cast your commander, you can immediately cast this. And then you can cast it every single turn, unless of course you wanna cast another artifact. For example, Executioner's Bubble or Nihil Spellbomb. These artifacts are also good on their own. Nihil Spellbomb is an interaction against graveyards, and it is a cantrip. You will draw a card from this. So if you have more mana than 0, you could sit there and cast Nihil Spellbomb and also draw a card each turn, but also destroy a graveyard each turn. And Executioner's Bubble is not a card draw effect, but it will destroy a non-black creature, so that is good. Including this many artifacts means that we could include Celia's Wren inside the 99. He costs a lot less compared to Muldrotha's 6 mana. Just like Life from the Loam, he will be a teeny mini version of Muldrotha, only focusing on artifacts. Here is another great example of an artifact that you could include with Celia's Wren and Muldrotha, Engineered Explosives. An Engineered Explosive is actually a good cEDH card that you can use even though you're not running this kind of strategy. You can cast it for 0, 1, 2 or 3, and when you activate for 2 mana you will blow up every permanent of that CMC cost. I will showcase 2 more artifacts, Lion's Eye, Diamond and Smokestack, but I'm not gonna be talking about them right now, because this is actually part of our combo and this is actually part of our game plan, and currently we are focusing on cards that will be good in synergy with Muldrotha, but also good on their own. There is a bunch of enchantments that also synergize good with Muldrotha but will be good on their own, like Mystic Remor and Seal of Doom. Mystic Remor is a great cEDH staple and should exist inside every single blue deck, and Muldrotha can bring it back into action, because eventually Mystic Remor will be sacrificed. I have 2 more really slow enchantments, but they will do a really interesting job. Legacy's Allure and the Eldest Reborn. Both of these enchantments are actually rather slow, and the Eldest Reborn even costs 5 mana, that's a lot, and it ticks forward once each turn, and you will steal a creature after 2 ticks, and then you can recast it for more value. However, this card is good on its own, and it will synergize with the game plan that I'm soon going to touch. You might be skeptic about Legacy Allure, and you should be, but it will steal Bird of Paradise instantly. It will steal Deathrite Shaman and Thrasius the Triton Hero on 1 tick, and on 2 ticks you will steal Tymna. Alright, I think it's time that we look at the actual Muldrotha combo. Alright, this is the combo for Muldrotha. You've already seen Lion's Eye Diamond. Now you need these 3 cards somewhere in your hand or in your graveyard, it won't matter. And you need Muldrotha in play. Begin with casting this for 0 mana, crack it for 3 blue mana. Then cast Phantasmal Image from your graveyard and it will come into play as a copy of Muldrotha. Now because of the legendary rule, and this is important, Muldrotha will die. But you have a new Muldrotha with a new set of this, so you can recast Lion's Eye Diamond once more, crack it for 3 black mana and cast Animate Dead targeting your commander Muldrotha, the original, from the graveyard. It comes back because of legendary rule, this will die. Recast this, recast this, recast this, and loop. You have infinite mana. But here comes the problem. So we have infinite mana, that's cool. If our commander would have been Thrasius, we could have drawn our entire deck. But Muldrotha doesn't have that option, so we need something more. Currently, this is a 3.5 combo. We actually need something more, something that will do something with infinite mana. That could be Nihil Spellbomb, now we can draw our entire deck. Or Mind Stone, now we can also draw our entire deck. But in the end, I wanna say it loud and clear, I don't think that this is a combo that you should go for with your Muldrotha. In the end, however, you should actually still include all these 3 cards, because these 3 cards are actually good inside this deck. With Lion's Eye Diamond, you could have an opening that looks like this. Turn 1 land, tap that thing for a dork. Turn 2, put a secondary land in play, then cast Lion's Eye Diamond for 0. Here is 3 mana in Sultai. Crack Lion's Eye Diamond, cast Muldrotha for 6. Your entire hand is now in your graveyard, together with Lion's Eye Diamond. Recast Lion's Eye Diamond from Muldrotha's ability from your graveyard, crack it, and then cast something that was in your hand that is now in your graveyard. Animate Dead and Phantasmal Image are actually good and decent cards that will be good on their own, but will also synergize with Muldrotha. You can cast this card from your graveyard with Muldrotha to steal big and stompy creatures from your opponent's graveyards and bring back extra more creatures from your graveyard. For example, you could cast Merciless Executioner for 3 mana, sacrifice it, and then cast Animate Dead and target Merciless Executioner and then sacrifice it once more. Each player each opponent actually sacrifice 2 creatures for 5 mana each turn. You could do the exact same thing with Phantasmal Image. If this is in play, if this was not a creature that you sacrificed the first time it entered, and then this is in your graveyard, you can cast Phantasmal Image for 2 mana instead of 3, and then it comes into play as a copy of Merciless Executioner, and then you sacrifice this instead, and you have a loop where you only pay 2 mana instead of 3. I think that is a bit cute at the very least. This, however, second chance is probably a much stronger one-card combo for Muldrotha. It requires a bit of a setup. Your life total needs to be 5 or less for this to function, and if you have that and your commander in play, of course, you have infinite turns. And a one-card combo that requires some setup shouldn't be that impossible. Cards like Necropotence and Ad Nauseam could easily set this up. But this is actually what I think would be the strongest game plan and win con for this deck. Stacks and grind, and actually winning somehow with beatdown. This is a 6-6, you will 4-shot players with commander damage. But I also made a video once about interactive win cons, and I think that is the right pathway for this commander and this build, that you win somehow with cards that are interactive instead. If you wanna take a look at that video, it's right up here in the corner as a suggestion. Or you simply include a typical Flash Hulk Sultai combo package. Because in the end you could build Muldrotha in so many ways. You could build this deck more focused at artifacts. Artifacts are usually really good on their own and easily build a deck that is good without a commander. You could also build this deck more focused on lands. Lands is also an archetype that functions really well without its commander, and Muldrotha will simply be an extra powerhouse to the strategy. But once again, I am going to focus my build on stacks and interactive win con. But I'm also going to include and showcase Delirium Schemes, a really good Pox card. Each player discards 3 cards, and we're fine with that because we can replay our cards. Our graveyard is actually our hand, and that is also why I think Muldrotha is a great commander for an interactive win con build, because if Scavenging Ooze dies, Muldrotha can simply bring it back. I might as well showcase this creature as well. When this rat comes into play, each player discards a card. And with a card like Phyrexian Tower, it is loopable, even though the Phyrexian Tower have seen better days. I guess that we're playing some form of a Muldrotha Pox build here, as there are so many different creatures with Pox abilities that we could cast and loop to make our opponents die of sickness. And I also want to showcase Tabernacle at the Pendrell Vale. We can use this land to kill our own Pox creatures, because we don't have to pay the upkeep costs for them. If we don't, they will be destroyed. Just pay the upkeep cost for your commander. We're not swarming with creatures, so we're not that affected by this. But this is a Stax piece against our opponents as well. And of course, the very iconic Smallpox. And in the description below of this video, you can find a link to my Muldrotha Pox build that is going to win with interactive win cons. But once more, this is not the only way that you could build your Muldrotha deck, but I want to emphasize the importance in saying that if your deck is focused on Muldrotha too much and it only operates when Muldrotha is online, then I think you've built your deck wrong. I highly recommend that you focus your build in order to not be that dependent on Muldrotha. If your deck could be playing really good without your commander, like Canadian Highlander for example, then you have a good deck, a good Muldrotha build, that once Muldrotha hits play, it will triumph. Now there is an alternative commander to Muldrotha that is doing closely the same thing, and I've been showing him quite a lot in this video, Celias Wren, together with Thrasius. And this is going to be my next deck tech video in the Sultai series that I'm currently making. I hope to see you then. Meanwhile, take care guys.